I'm not in the car, in case you can't tell. uh, we've been talking a lot about my new book, Money Your Friend. I'll put a link below if for some reason you have not downloaded it yet. It's only $1 or free if you have Kindle Unlimited. Um, but most of you watching, hopefully at this point, have downloaded the book or bought a paperback copy, which is actually what I suggest doing because then you can write in it and there's a journal at the end. Most of you who are interested in the book have hopefully started to go through it. And we've made so many videos the last couple weeks about some of the main concepts in the book and kind of supplemental information you can use to hopefully improve your relationship with money. And again, I feel very confident that if you follow the advice in the book, specifically if you follow the 30-day recommendation that I share in the book, that it will help improve your relationship with money. And of course, over the long run, as within, so without, if inwardly you start to feel better about money, over the long term, you will in all likelihood see your financial situation improve in significant ways. All right, that's what this book is getting at, and it's getting at a lot of deep things. And I'm now unsurprisingly at the point where I'm tired of talking about it. Now that might change, but I want to move on, as I often find myself doing on this channel, to what's currently on my mind. I find that usually we spend like a week or two on a subject and then kind of naturally move on. It's very organic usually, how we do that. So I'm not going to belabor talking about Money Your Friend. If you don't have a copy, I suggest you get one, but whatever. I want to talk about it being the beginning of a new year, and we've been talking about how, every day is at the beginning of a new year in reality, but it being the beginning of a new year, I've been thinking about what I've seen recently, speaking with clients, speaking with people who I've been giving free consultations to, if you're new to my work or just have never spoken to me before. And I'm still offering that. I'm planning to keep on offering that. If you've never spoken to me on the phone or Zoom, and you like my stuff, it's usually pretty beneficial. So I'm glad to, provide like a free 15, 20-minute consultation for you, to get, insights from me if you think that I might be able to help you in some way. But what I've seen through my coaching clients and then just from people who I've had brief consultations with is this idea that or I should say this feeling that, they feel like they should understand this material better than they do, and that they're doing something incorrect that they could be doing correctly. And they want my viewpoint on that. And this is usually, again, I like speaking in generalities here, right? Because we all have different subjective sensibilities. But generally speaking, what I tell most people who I speak with on the phone or Zoom is that you're not usually doing anything really wrong or incorrect. What you're doing is figuring out what works for you. What part of this manifesting or spiritual information really hits home for you? Because in my experiences, what hits home for you the most is what you're going to be able to kind of go back to and rely on and make kind of a continual practice in your life, and not just do for a month or two. Now, there's a lot of benefit for just sometimes doing techniques or habits for a month or two. Like I talk about in Money Your Friend. Money Your Friend give you a 30-day exercise to do, and you just have to do it for 30 days. But when we do short-term stuff like that, like a 30 or 60-day exercise or a 7-day mental diet, it's to kind of help us pivot, right? To see where we're at and to see where we're going. But still, we want to rely on things that work for us. And I think a lot of people initially speak to me and they're like, I know there's something to this. A lot of times people have had big manifestation successes before, manifesting a certain thing or several, big things in their life. But nonetheless, almost everybody I speak to and what I see in the community at large is even when people have a lot of success with this stuff, sometimes, generally speaking, they still feel kind of lost with what they're doing. And that's what I really want to focus on. I want to say in 2024 in terms of this channel, but that's too grandiose. I mean, at least for the time being, what I want to be talking about more, and certainly what I'm going to be working with clients on more, is that success with this stuff is is long term and it's gradual. And the big manifestation successes we have are great, but they're only part of the process. And the real process is a lot more holistic and, quite frankly, gentle than that. It's not about finding a certain technique and everything's going to work perfectly for the rest of your life. People basically ask me a lot of the time, like, what can I do to solve everything? They don't use those words, but that's basically what they're asking. And I say, you don't do a freaking thing to solve anything. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. What works is going within, getting deep with yourself, getting honest with yourself, and becoming more grounded in these ideas, realizing what actually works in my life in regards to these manifesting ideas and what does not usually work, and then discarding it. And it's okay to experiment with different techniques and different approaches to this stuff. I love doing that myself. But still, we have to remember that the stuff that we feel closest to, most intimate and deeply connected with, is what's probably going to work with us, work for us and with us. You understand? And we can rely on that and be more grounded in our practice of trying to feel better and manifest better things in our life by doing that. And there's no magic pill. It's about grounding yourself more and more into these principles. Because what people don't want to talk about, and what I love to talk about, and I'm planning maybe on talking about more over the coming weeks and months, is all the failure in this community. That's what people don't understand. Generally speaking, people think that like a lot of people applying these manifesting ideas are having great success, that it's like a significant percentage, and that they're able to manifest big thing after big thing after big thing. And that's just nonsense. People, from what I've seen, are sometimes able to manifest big things, but a lot of times they cannot. And if you're just trying to manifest one certain specific thing and then manifest another big certain specific thing and then manifest another big certain specific thing, chances are you're going to fail sooner than later. That's not a sound, holistic approach to this material usually for most of us. It might work for some people, but it has to be more grounded in your daily life, in your spiritual life, you could say. In your spiritual life, the goal of spiritual practice, I think in many ways, at least for me, is simply to recognize that you're already okay right now. You're always okay. You're always one with God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. You're always okay. And it has nothing to do with manifesting something. You are always okay. So when we combine this approach to life, this spiritual approach that you are always okay, with these manifesting ideas, it can help improve external things in your life, and you can feel better in general and have better things come into your life seemingly, right? But the idea is you feel okay the whole time, as often as you can. And there's going to be plenty of times you don't feel okay. But where I come from with when I work with myself and with clients is that, well, you're still okay. You just don't recognize it. I just don't recognize it in myself right now that I'm okay. But you're still okay. It's got nothing to do with manifesting. It's got to do with acknowledging that you are okay right now. And I would go so far as to say that you can just have that as your spiritual practice, recognize that you are okay right now, vibe out to that you're already fine, and be just aware of these principles and have your life externally improve as well. No manifesting technique, no specific manifesting approach whatsoever. Just more recognition that I am okay right now. God is good. And that's what, again, this is what I like talking about. This is my approach to the law of attraction, the law of assumption. But it's so far out there that most people aren't going to get it who are into these law of attraction, law of assumption ideas. So I want to read, this video is already going long. It's a good one. I like this. I want to read this description. I recently changed my description on YouTube. I'm going to change my coaching page too. But this is my description on YouTube. Let me read this to you. So if you're new here, you know like what this channel is kind of getting at. In my description now says, "Hi, I'm Tim. I help people relax and simplify manifesting concepts so that you can better utilize them in your life. I'm a coach, spiritual counselor, author of multiple best-selling stress management guides, and an editor of underappreciated works by Emile Coué and Neville Goddard. After almost a decade of working with people in this area, I can tell you the ugly truth. There's a high failure rate when it comes to applying spiritual and manifesting advice. This issue isn't discussed enough on social media due to rampant spiritual bypassing and commercialism. Most people watching manifesting videos on YouTube are not ready to get real about this. My channel exists for those who are ready and want to start feeling better. I'll provide you with the practical solutions needed to implement these wonderful concepts in a more fulfilling way. To find out more, you can see the links on my webpage or on this YouTube description page, or contact me at radicalcounselor.com. So that's what this channel is about in large part. And it's going to alienate a lot of people who are into the manifesting ideas that they see on YouTube, the manifesting community, which we use that term loosely. But I like helping people implement this stuff in a practical way. And I'm going to be focusing even more on that, I think, over the coming months. And I can tell you right now, you already know this if you follow this channel, but I wrote here, my channel exists for those who are ready and want to start feeling better. The whole point is you can start feeling better right now. Right now. You can get a copy of my short guide, The Relaxation Manifesto. I'll put a link below to that as well on my website. The Relaxation Manifesto, I basically say relax more, practice relaxing more, and you'll realize you can start feeling better right now. Your external circumstances are not deciding that ultimately. You can relax more inwardly right now, and we can become more present right now. And whenever we become more present, we realize we're okay. That's spiritual practice, in my opinion. And then if we want to, utilize these manifesting ideas and techniques and approaches, it becomes much more easy and gratifying and gentle and not self-judgmental to do so. All right, so I've made kind of a couple New Year's videos, but this is the real New Year's video. I think I'm going to do a podcast episode soon as well. Back with a new podcast episode because I haven't done one for a couple months. And I might even read, I was going to do it today, but I got too animated. Read a little bit from Robert Augustus Masters' book. I have it right here, Spiritual Bypassing. I'll put, actually, I'm going to put, I mentioned in the description There's a high failure rate when it comes to applying spiritual and manifesting advice. This is due to rampant spiritual bypassing and commercialism. I'm going to put a link above to a podcast episode I did about spiritual bypassing in the Law of Assumption and Law of Attraction community, where I read from Robert Augustus Masters' book. And like I said, I think I'll read more from it in the coming days. And there'll be a podcast episode coming up as well. So I hope all that's helpful. If you have never spoken to me and want to speak to me on the phone or Zoom, I'm very happy to talk to you. If you want to implement these ideas in a more gentle way. So yeah, I'm here when you're ready for that. And if you have any questions or anything else, I can be reached at radicalcounselor.com, and you can email me directly if you want it, info@radicalcounselor.com. Happy now.